Hello, my internet fans. It's me, Statboy Mike, and I would like to welcome you to this week's installment of Throwback Thursday. The Casa D18 Studios Channel continues to sort through the archives of the Jeff Meacham Network, the Simple Man brand, JH95 FTW, NoDQ.com, and the Casa Channel in order to bring you classic content that you may not have seen in a long time, if ever. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Throwback Thursdays offering. I love you all. Statboy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone, this is episode 48 of Talk Wrestling. We're back. We didn't go away after a 2-week return. We're back, and again, I appreciate the viewership. I appreciate all the comments. It wasn't even 2 weeks. It was only 1 week. We had both shows go up in 1 week because Aaron felt that the iron was, we had to strike while the iron was hot, you know, and both of them went up Thursday and Sunday, or Thursday and Saturday, whatever it was, and both of them got great responses. I got a lot of comments, some negative. I'll get to a negative comment person in a little bit. I want to address a couple things first of all before we get to the questions. First of all, 2 huge names have been announced for WrestleMania 26 already. They announced a press conference the other day, and not only is that happening, but there's 2 huge names for WrestleMania 26. Jeff Meacham and Aaron Rift. That's right. The show is going on the road to Glendale, to Phoenix, Arizona for WrestleMania 26. We'll tape a couple of Talk Wrestlings there. We may even get some fans to interact with the show this time. We were planning to do that for WrestleMania 19 when we were going up to Seattle. We were going to do that, and we ended up not doing it. And then we were going to do it for 21, but I ended up not getting tickets to 21 because I was a broke ass. Worse than I was that I owe Aaron for Florida. But I've been a broke ass since we started doing the show. In any event, we're going to WrestleMania next year, and we hope to see you all there, whoever lives in Arizona, whoever's traveling to Arizona. Anybody from California that's going, let us know. And maybe we'll do a carpool. Maybe we'll do a van pool the whole way on the freeway. All the way to Arizona. Second thing I want to address, I'm going to address a certain Sacramento native in a little while. But to one particular person on the YouTube board who, up until now, I haven't even mentioned him in 3 years, maybe even 4 years. McAvoy, you piece of shit, fuck you. Okay, on to today's questions. Alright, this one's from Michael R. I like that. A simple name, just Michael R. You warmed my heart, Michael. Thank you. Do you think the title reigns in WWE are too short, and is it defacing the titles in this era? Like, for example, Edge winning the title and only holding it for a couple of weeks before John Cena beating him for it. In a total of 37 months, Edge has been an 8-time world champion. Your thoughts? I didn't know the stats were that bad. 37 months. That's just over 3 years. Edge is already half of what Flair has been. That's crazy. Flair won 16 world titles between 1981 and 2000. That's 19 years. Edge has won 8 world championships in 3. That's amazing. Thank you for that stat, Mike. Vince Russo had a very interesting point when he said this. I don't know if it was on our show or in a regular interview he had with some other, outlet or whatever. Titles are props. People honestly don't watch wrestling anymore for the championships. The championships are there to put around the guy that they want to build around or the guy that they're building around to chase. Edge is supposed to be the top guy, and he's being chased by John Cena. They have to have something there for Cena to obtain at the end of the chase. So they put a belt on him. They could put a trophy with him. They could put, a little bandana on his head saying, I'm the best, whatever. They have to have some sort of trophy, some sort of prize at the end for the challenger to obtain. That way it looks credible. So I don't think there's really defacing titles at this point. And honestly, if you look back in the late 90s, both the WWF at the time and WCW had double-digit championship changes, the world titles. Both companies had that. Cena was champion his first time from April to January. His most recent WWE title reign, he was champion from September until the following October. And he only lost the title because he got hurt. Had he not gotten hurt with that pec injury, I don't think he would have been. I think he would have been champion well into WrestleMania the following year when Orton defended the title against Cena and Triple H. I think Cena would have still been champion by then. I firmly believe that in my heart. The titles aren't being defended. I think it was very creative for Edge to lose the WWE Championship at the beginning of the night and win the world title at the end of the night. That was brilliant booking. I loved that, and I'm sorry if that makes me unpopular with you guys. I thought that was very creative that they did it that way. And people, he jobbed Kofi Kingston. Dude, Kofi Kingston is not going to be a world champion yet. There is no way that was going to happen. Kofi Kingston was not going, and you know what? Ratings went up again. Edge, was, talking to the world. I'm the highest rated champion in 5 years when he won the WWE Championship from Cena when they had that live sex celebration with Lita. He was the highest rated WWE champion, whatever it was, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it was, and ratings went up again when Edge was champion. The stats are there. It's right there in front of you. And people want to see the challengers chase Edge. Edge is the best heel champion they have right now. Period. Jack Swagger can't even touch Edge. and he's a heel champion. Of course, he's ECW champion. Orton, if he becomes WWE champion at WrestleMania, will be up there with him because people want to see Orton get chased by some rabid challenger that wants it. Cena wants to be champion again so bad. The fans want to see Cena just destroy Edge. That promo that Cena cut, not this last Monday, but the Monday before that, where he grabs Edge and turns him around and goes, whatever it was, you try to hide and I'll find you. You try to run and I'll catch you. We're going to fight and I'm going to hurt you. That was so intense, and everybody in the arena and everybody at my house watching that, I'm sure Aaron did, they all felt that from Cena, that, yeah, he's going to get you, Edge, and you're going to die. You know, it was awesome. It was great. But you can only do that if you have a champion like Edge. And championships changing hands, that's the nature of this business, man. Titles change hands all the time. I can't even read this one. And I got better eyes, and I can't even read this one. Y'all Hashmu. Wow. Get that on close, Aaron. Right there. Oh dear God, English. I failed English 4 times, and yes, I can't read that, but that's no excuse. Do you think the Boogeyman should turn heel? I think the Boogeyman should go back into his little hole, take his bag of worms with him, and go away. The Boogeyman is the epitome of the stupid cartoon character that we see on WWE television now, that Vince is trying, we're a family-friendly, we're PG. Dude, somebody spitting worms in your mouth ain't PG. That's disgusting. That's Fear Factor shit. Fear Factor's not rated PG. Fear Factor's TV-14. At least it used when it was still on. It was TV-14. You had people drinking, boogers and worms and, brains and, feces and shit. Feces and shit. I didn't do it on purpose, but I did it. The Boogeyman is a terrible character, and he's a terrible wrestler. He failed Tough Enough, and he lied on Tough Enough about his age. He got kicked off of Tough Enough. He shouldn't even be with the company. There's no place for Boogeyman in my version of as a WWE fan. No place for him whatsoever. Joe Shin. Do you ever see Tajiri returning to WWE? No, Tajiri's happy in Japan. He's making the money that he wants to make. He's living the life he wants to live. He'll make an occasional appearance in the United States. He came back for the One Night Stand pay-per-view. He's not going to come back full time. He doesn't want to. He's happy in Japan, and it sucks. I always like Tajiri. But I don't see him ever returning. It's not in the cards, and he doesn't need to. He's happy where he is. This is from Insane Juggalo Dude. Hey Jeff, which young mid-carder do you think is most likely to become a main eventer in 2009? If we're talking WWE, I would say Kofi Kingston's going to be up there again this year. Young mid-carder, Ken Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy's still a young guy, and he should be up in the main event again when he returns fully from shoulder injury. He came back verbally for a few weeks, picking on MVP, and then he disappeared again. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard anything. I don't read a lot of the internet reports anymore. I actually have a job now, and despite what people in Sacramento think, I do work. So I've been very busy. I will attempt to catch up on news in the next couple weeks. That way when we have a show next time, I'll be prepared. We're going to do this on the seat of my pants today. So the taping just kind of happened. It kind of was sprung on me, so I apologize. Kofi Kingston, Mr. Kennedy, Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, whatever you want to call him. A guy that they signed recently, he's been in Florida, Low-Key. Why not have Low-Key be up at the main event in 2009? Tyson Kidd, any of the guys in Florida that you're going to see, or any of the guys currently on the roster mid-card wise, Intercontinental Championship and United States Championship contenders. Those guys should all be in the main event. Punk's, gonna be, he's in Money in the Bank this year. He may be a Money in the Bank winner again. You never know. He should be up there with the World Championships again. And there's guys that are on the mid-card that aren't so young that'll be in main event again. Chris Jericho, he's been kind of pushed to the back since he lost the world title. They may be having the thing with Rourke at WrestleMania. We still don't know. I see him going back in the main event again one more time before the year's over. It's a crapshoot. Anything can happen. Mr. Tinker. Mr. Tinker. At least it wasn't Mr. Tinkle, I guess. I recently saw a SmackDown promo for the upcoming return of Gail Kim. What's your take on that? I'm not sure if Gail Kim belongs on SmackDown. The Divas title doesn't have a whole lot of... Well, let me take that back. If Gail Kim becomes Divas champion, she will add instant credibility to that SmackDown Divas type, the championship, the title. Right now, you've got Michelle McCool, who held it first, not the best wrestler. Maurice has it now, not the best wrestler. Gail Kim was the best wrestler TNA had, women-wise, female-wise. And if she wins that title, instant credibility. Gail Kim is a tremendous force in this business. I've always liked Gail Kim. She kind of grew on me. I take that. I didn't say I don't mean I've always liked her. She grew on me very quickly when she debuted in WWE, became women's champion, and defended it so vigorously for that time she had it. She kind of fell off the radar in WWE though once she turned heel and sided with Molly Holly after Molly beat her. But she grew into her own in TNA as the lead knockout. And she has been nothing but an asset to TNA the last 4 years. And she'll be a great asset to SmackDown if she becomes champion right away. This one is from Charles. His YouTube handle is Coolio1986. I appreciate putting your real name. Thank you so much. I asked for that a couple weeks ago. Thank you. My thoughts on the current feud between Triple H and Randy Orton, how I think it'll play out. Well, since this is going up right away, and I actually think about current thoughts, it looks like we're leading toward a WWE title match at WrestleMania, and it looks like Orton will regain the WWE title after not holding it for almost a year. He lost it at Backlash last year to Triple H in that Fatal 4-Way with Cena and JBL, I want to say. Yeah, Cena and JBL. I think Orton will become the WWE champion again and either keep the WWE title on Raw or Orton will jump to SmackDown with Legacy. Anything can happen. I think Edge moving to Raw is good. Edge has been on SmackDown for, over a year now. And I think his time is right to return to Raw and let Vicky come back. Let Vicky run Raw. God help us all. She's the general manager of both shows, Aaron. Excuse me while I heave. Terrible. Anyway, the time is right for Edge to make a jump again. So let him and Cena feud over the world title on Raw. And let Orton be WWE champion on SmackDown. Tyler B. What do you think about Low-Key / Senshi coming to WWE? They said he signed a contract with WWE and he did a show for FCW under the name Kaval. At the end, in the middle of the match, he hit the Warriors' way. But do you think if he gets on a WWE show, ECW, Raw, SmackDown, etc., they will make him stop using the move on their bigger talent, or let him do it like they did with Matt Sydal / Evan Bourne in the Shooting Star Press? Blah, blah, blah. That's a long question. Senshi, excuse me, I know you guys don't like Meiji knows. I got really bad allergies. I'm working in the valley now, so I got allergies everywhere. Low-Key is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. And I've seen them all. In the last 25 years. Be it by video, be it by live events, be it by pay-per-view. I've been watching almost 20 years. Through the use of videotape, I've watched the stuff when I was a kid I didn't get to see before I started watching in 1990. Low-Key's one of the best I've ever seen. And if they do it right with him, if they push him right and they use him right, he will be a force. I'm not saying he'll ever be world or WWE champion, but he would make a great ECW champion. If they come in and just have him just, surprise stagger. Whoops. I'm seeing him Sunday. My mind's on that. Swagger. That would be great. It would be a great impact for him to come in and just surprise Jack Swagger and just upset him, hit the Warriors' way on him in 1, 2, 3, new champion. I think it'd be a great push for Low-Key and gives him what he would deserve. That's the difference. Low-Key, I like Low-Key a lot, and he was great in TNA. He's been great on the Indy circuit, Ring of Honor, and all that. I don't see him as a WWE main eventer. I see him as a WWE ECW main eventer. but not a Raw or SmackDown main eventer. I don't know why, I just don't see that. You got a guy like Christian who ECW needed to boost ratings, but Christian needs to leave that show and go back to Raw or SmackDown. Low-key would fit in perfect on ECW as a champion and as a challenger. Black Mojo 96. Guys, real names. I know that's your YouTube name, and Aaron very graciously put this together for me, but provide your real names in your question on the comment board. Please, please, please. I hate these stupid YouTube names. Ugh. Which WrestleMania do you think was the best, and do you feel WrestleMania 25 will be better than your favorite? If so, or if not, why? My favorite Mania, there's a couple. 3, of course. 3 was one of the greatest ever. Strictly for the 2 main event matches. The Intercontinental title match between Steamboat and Savage, and the WWE title match, Hogan and Andre. And 17 was very well done. Top to bottom, great card. No real lull, no real stupid match. Of course, the Gimmick Battle Royal was supposed to be a stupid match, so that was stupid. 25 has the potential so far to be better than 17. You've got 2 matches that are likely to happen, even 3 maybe. You've got a celebrity involvement match between Mickey Rourke and Chris Jericho, if that does indeed happen. And you've got the 2 world title matches, Orton and Triple H, and Cena and Edge. Both of those have the potential to be great matches. Cena and Edge have had great matches. They had great matches throughout 2005, and 2006, actually. 2006, not 2005. 2005, Cena was champion all year and didn't face Edge until the beginning of 2006. Cena and Edge had a great feud throughout 2006 over the WWE title, and Orton and Triple H always are great together. They've been good together since Orton broke off from Evolution 5 years ago. They're a great pair. Both those matches will be good in my opinion, and if they have a solid undercard to go with it, then WrestleMania 25 has the potential to be one of, if not the best of all time. Brian R., what do you think about Rhino? Do you think he'll get another title run in TNA? I think Rhino is past the point where he will make an impact on this business anymore, and I don't think he'll get another title run in TNA. I think he's going to be a guy who is fed to new talent, a guy who is like the bottom of the rung guy in feuds, like, the Frontline Main Event Mafia feud. He was kind of like, oh yeah, Rhino's there too. But nobody really gave him a second thought. Rhino being world champion in TNA surprised me a lot. I was surprised that he was NWA champion, that he beat Jarrett. I'm not sure why they did that. Rhino was a great champion for ECW, when ECW was still ECW, before it became a WWE property. But I don't see him as a credible world champion in either company. And again, ECW champion, then WWE style, sure. Why not? But a WWE World or WWE Champion or a TNA Champion, no. Sorry. And I know the Rhino fans are going to be pissed at me, and I'm sorry. I never bought Rhino. I never got into it. I never got into him. Wrestling fans, 619. You from San Diego? Just guessing? If not, you like Rey Mysterio a lot, one or the other. Let me know. With Ring of Honor getting on TV soon, will they become the number 3 wrestling promotion like ECW in the 1990s? I think they already are. Honestly. Ring of Honor has been a powerhouse since they got on pay-per-view, since they've had guys like McGuinness and Danielson and Roderick Strong and Jack Evans and all these guys wrestling for them. And Adam Pearce now booking for them and wrestling for them and appearing for them as NWA champion when he did. They are a powerhouse, and I think they already are. I mean, you look, there's WWE, which is way up there. TNA, which is up here and kind of getting better. I watched TNA this week. I apologize for ragging on TNA. It's an okay show. I apologize. I know when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. Sorry. Anyway, WWE's way up there. TNA's about here, and, trying to grab it better, but not, slowly. It's happening for them. And then Ring of Honor's right here, number 3. Ring of Honor, and then you got the rest of the indie promotions throughout the country and throughout the world even. Yeah, New Japan, All Japan, or, big companies or whatever. Or New Japan and Inoki's company, excuse me, not All Japan, I think. But in this country, it's WWE, TNA, and then Ring of Honor is the number 3. They are the top indie promotion in this country, and there's a reason for that. If you look at their history, if you look at what they've done and what they are doing now, nobody surpasses them. Nobody. And this is a guy coming from Southern California where there's a hotbed of indie promotions here. Nobody is doing what Ring of Honor is doing. They are phenomenal. They're great. I got your authorization there and I can say what I want right now? Okay. Because I know the show, his show is a big thing for NoDQ.com and for NoahTube.com. Dude, Noah, my sick little Geek Squad boy. No, I can't say that because then I'll reel his job. I can't do that. God damn it. Okay. Since I have carte blanche from Aaron, as I always do on the show, and I thank him for that more and more as each week passes, I'm going to get a little personal with you guys right now. I don't do that a whole lot, except giving my thoughts, whatever, but this needs to be addressed. I already addressed somebody else on the top of the show, and I gave him short, quick response. But this guy deserves a well-thought-out, well-calculated response. Noah Donish. It's been almost 6 years now, and throughout my online career, you have been an integral part of it. There's no denying it. Because since 2003, be it Mike and I, be it Lee and I, Josh and I, whoever and I, you've been the thorn in our paw. The last show, or the first show I came back, when I addressed you, I was joking. Completely, 100% joking. I didn't even mention your name. It was in jest. Completely in jest. And you took it personally, as you always do. And this is what you had to say.
What Jeff Meacham neglected to tell you guys was that I, being the awesome king of internet media, Noah Donish, and being also a rich bitch, I offered to buy him a ticket to SummerSlam, and he turned me down. He turns me down and then goes on his internet show talking smack about me? That's quite ungrateful, and I don't appreciate that. How dare you? How dare you, Jeff?
Noah, you bought yourself, and I'm guessing his mom is sitting with him, $200, $300 tickets. You are sitting, I believe you told me, 3rd or 4th row. Your generous offer was a $20 cheap seat. Dude, I sit up there for fucking hockey. My dad and my brother sat there for Unforgiven when it was here in 2002. Do you honestly think I'm going to subject myself to sitting up there for crappy seats? Even if it is for SummerSlam. I am much happier sitting in my palatial mansion, if you will, in front of my big screen TV watching SummerSlam. And you have the nerve to call me ungrateful? Dude, I don't want your fucking charity. If I want a SummerSlam ticket, or better yet, I'll go with this crazy fucker and go to WrestleMania without you. Let's see what else.
This isn't over. You think it's over, but it's not over. I'm not going to forget this. After all I've done for you, I'm not going to forget this. Watch your back. I'm coming to town in 6 months. 6 months. I'll be watching for you, baby.
Don't ever kiss me again. That was disgusting. Got the chills. The chills? The chills. You're coming to town and dude, I know when SummerSlam is. Aaron, isn't SummerSlam usually in August? Yes, August. Let's see. February, March, April, May, June, July. 6. It's August. Dude, you can count. You better count for the job you've got, moron. Dude, watch my back. Right here, baby. Open arms, Noah. please come to Southern California. Please approach me. I'll even go on XTV. How about that? I will appear for the first time ever on XTV. I've already been on the Inside Scoop and poured my heart out to the world and gave you the best rating you've had, from what I understand. I'll go on XTV when you come to Southern California. I'll give your show such a boost, you won't know what the fuck to do with your freaking bandwidth. You won't know what the hell hits you. It'll be like NoDQ and XMV first showed up. Dude, Aaron was having bandwidth issues for months. Bring it on, bitch. Baby. I'm watching. I'm coming for you, baby. Dude, don't ever. I ain't your baby. And I don't care how rich of a bitch you are. You will always be my bitch. Come to Southern California. We'll see you next time on Talk Wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that, that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a mite or a squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player. Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potentials.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better, or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out and separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special man.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Ready. Drop.
What's cracking, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages? This is our next special of the Get to Know You series. I'm the bomb. Yes, I am. I am your hostess, the wonderful, talented, charming, challenging, sometimes really don't care, Pinky. This is
Jada again.
and we are interviewing Mr. Bossman himself, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams.
Yeah.
Say what's
Thank
cracking.
you, thank you, thank you.
Say what's cracking.
What's going on?
We just felt like, getting Boss Man, last. I don't know if that sounded right, but start strong, go home strong.
Well,
Yeah.
Technically, don't you have one more coming with Mr. Lowdown Radio himself, Sean Cloth? So wouldn't he be last?
Well, he
He's
kind of
still Boss Man, but
Well, yeah, but he's still Boss Man, but you're all Boss Man. So that's what we mean. You're
So I'm the last one from within the studios, and he's the last one in general.
Correct.
At least until such time where you get like an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. I think our last one was who? Yeah.
It was one that wasn't aired.
Because it was that clusterfucky.
Outtakes and bloopers that just might show up on.
It would be one that we actually do again.
Yeah, at least he'd be willing to do one again. Hopefully it won't be as wrong.
Cluster screwy again.
Yeah, cluster screwy. I like that.
Thank you.
Why are you saying cluster screwy? There's no kid here, and I just said cluster fucky.
I don't know.
We just felt like
It's a
saying
habit. It's a good habit to have.
Now, would you care to kick this off, girlfriend?
Okay. Well, getting to know you a little bit.
Okay.
We know you have a daughter.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about her.
Her name is Natalie Rose Williams. She
That's the most
is.
pretty name I've ever heard too. I love that name.
Thank you. She will be 4 in January.
Yay.
And she's quite honestly the center of my world. Even though I don't get to see her as often as I'd like to, she's still the center of my world.
Aww. Are you proud to be a papa?
Of course. And I freaking have her name tattooed on my arm here. I don't know how good the camera can see it, but it's a rose with the name Natalie in the stem for Natalie Rose.
How cute.
How did you come up with the name?
Me and her mom both worked on it together.
That's teamwork. Nice. Okay. Getting out of the mushy stuff here before we all just tear, cry, and ruin makeup and stuff here. How in the world did you come by the name the Renegade of Wrestling?
Honestly, I don't even remember how I came up with the nickname. I was trying to come up with a cool nickname, a catchy nickname for my show that I was going to premiere. I already knew when I was going to start the show. I already knew what the show was going to be about. You know, I had the date set for a minute because I was promoting the 1/11/11 for like a good month or two before I even debuted.
Nice.
So I had everything set. I just needed a show name. I didn't know what I was going to call it yet. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And I think it kind of came from trying to work off of the ROH type of thing. Because I wanted to be different from like WWE and TNA, and I wanted to be more rebellious and not just, oh, WWE wrestling is the greatest thing ever type of thing, you know. And I always had liked the NWO logo, so I was trying to think of something that would kind of work within that aspect. Something OW instead of WO. I ended up coming up with the Renegade of Wrestling, ROW.
Nice. One more question along the lines of that.
Huh?
Do you see yourself as a standout from other channels or other, you know, wrestling shows or vlogs, video logs for those you guys who don't know what it is? Do you see yourself as a standout just because of the name, or because of the name and what you represent and what you bring to the table?
Well, for what I represent, I definitely consider myself a standout because there's very few people out there. In fact, I don't think there was anybody out there covering indie wrestling when I started covering indie wrestling over a year ago. And now you've got other guys that do shows that talk about indie wrestling. As far as being like a standout talent or anything, or like, it was never about that for me. It was like, yes, I always wanted to make the best product that I felt I could do, but I never had to be the superstar. I just wanted to be me, venting my, you know, issues and applauding the good things that I see both on the indie scene and on the pro scene. It is my release. You know, instead of getting all pissed off and going postal on somebody at the job, you know, just start swinging, I was able to sit down in front of the camera and take my frustrations out.
Nice.
Because more often than not, I'd have a shitty day and then I'd come home and see a shitty wrestling product, and it's like, okay, I gotta say something about this bullshit.
This is some bullshit. Okay, take it away.
Now, we know you've dabbled in backyard wrestling.
Okay.
Why did you do backyard wrestling instead of pro wrestling? Going to a school and learning how to do professional wrestling?
Well, before I get into the why, let me just say that backyard wrestling is something that I think everybody does at some point in their life. They may not exactly call it backyard, but everybody wrestles around with their big brother or their cousin, whether it's in the house jumping off of couches and living room tables, or in the front yard jumping off the porch, or if they're really crazy, off their roof. You know, I was going to say, people doing swantons off of their roof into the pool, or frog splashes. Everybody does some kind of backyard wrestling. So, you know, let's not just put that
whether you're a fan
stamp.
or not.
Yeah, let's not just put that stamp about backyard being this evil creature, even though the industry looks at it as such. Why I did backyard more than real wrestling was, honestly, it came down to income. I've never had the money to really be able to pay for wrestling school. So a bunch of my buddies got together and we, you know, just kind of goofed around like guys do. And we just had fun with it. You know? A couple of us were able to get funds to go on to school. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to throw them under the bus. But, you know, a couple of our guys were able to get the money and go to school and actually start doing this the real way. And, you know, I applaud them.
I was one of those who came from the organization that you speak of. And I was able, through you guys, to go to EWF. That's where I got my start. Besides you guys, I got my start through EWF, so I was able to go to school, and I got into class knowing all of the basics and even some of the advanced stuff, which a lot of people, for lack of a better term, hated me for. Because first day of class, I knew what forward roll, back roll, 3/4 roll. They're like, huh? I'm like, that's what I used to Dude, I know that.
What happens when you do your homework?
It's what happens when you do your homework. So
and we always kind of just figured, you know, if you can take a bump on the unforgiving grass,
Ow,
then a ring is actually a step up.
Yeah, it's more padded.
No, ring feels like a pillow compared to grass.
Well, yeah.
It's hard. What are your thoughts on backyard wrestling per se? Not necessarily, you know, that it's an evil creature hiding, you know, in the closet. Grrr, one of them. But what are your honest thoughts about that?
I think as long as you don't do backyard expecting to be the next John Cena or Randy Orton or AJ Styles, then, you know, whatever, you know. Again, as long as you're out there just goofing around with your buddies, your cousins, your brothers, whatever, having fun, it shouldn't be looked at as such a bastard of the industry. There's a lot of guys within the business that came from backyard that have made huge names for themselves.
Correct.
Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Matt and Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley. You know, all these guys were basically backyard guys before making their mark, and they're all former world champions. You know, Matt counts because he was the ECW world champion, even though it was the botched ECW title.
Not the real one.
You know, but Jeff has been WWE World Heavyweight, TNA. You got Punk, who's been ROH, ECW, WWE World Heavyweight. You've got Bryan, who's been ROH World Heavyweight. You've got, you know, Foley, who's been multi-time WWF champion. So, you know, you've got guys that have become big names, and they all started out in the backyard.
Gotcha. One more before I throw it off to you. Were you always a wrestling fan? And if not, when exactly did you come into wrestling?
I was expecting this question. It's about the only one I really was expecting.
That would actually be my next one.
Well, you cross out your list now. Go ahead.
I got into wrestling back in 1998. I was always one of those that ridiculed professional wrestling. I was always one of those guys that got on my friends' cases for being wrestling fans, telling them it's fake. Why are you sitting there watching a couple of oiled up steroid freaks and speedos rolling around on the mat and shit? Are you gay?
Oh.
That was always me, and it was, you know, in the midst of the Attitude Era, and I was told by my friends, Bruce, who y'all have seen on the channel before doing music things and horror movies with us.
Everybody loves Bruce.
Mike, Stat Boy, and our friend Blaine, may he rest in peace. I was told, you know, that I can't sit there and talk shit about it unless I give it a chance. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'll sit there and I'll watch 2 hours worth of Monday Night Raw, and I'll come back here and I'll still shit talk it the next day. I came back the next day and I was like, dude, that was pretty awesome. And I was changed forevermore. It was kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge being visited by the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, since I had 3 people telling me I had to give it a chance, and then coming back the next morning all changed man and everything. Yeah, that's kind of how it was with me.
Sorry for the squeaks, that was funny.
Well,
That was
being
fun.
a daddy, if Natalie told you that she wanted to be a professional wrestler, what would you say, and why would you?
I'd be all for it. I would be all for it. I would make sure that she knew that it was a tough business. You know, even though I have never legitimately been in the business, I'd make sure to let her know that it's a tough business. I would make her come up the right way. You know, the few times that I've brought her to shows, you know, I haven't had her like shake hands, but I've introduced her to everybody. You know, the respectful thing to do. I'd make sure she went to the best training camp, which out here right now has to be the Santino Brothers Dojo.
I agree. I agree.
And I would have her, you know, talking to the girls that are out here. You know, who knows who that may be in 15 years.
Yeah.
But right now it would be the, you know, the Thunder Kitties, the New York Knockout Nickies, the Tara Callaways, and I'd have her talking to all those girls and be like, you know, what is it like being in this male-dominated sport? You know, this past week we saw Tara take on 2 dudes in a tag tournament.
Yeah.
You know?
And she got
And she got her ass whooped, exactly.
Yes, she did.
But she was in there bumping like a champ.
Yes, she was. She took it like a champ.
Exactly.
She took it like a champ.
You know, and we saw Nikki a week or so ago at Millennium Pro in there working with guys, but that's nothing new for her. She's used to doing that. You know, so...
She kicks ass doing it, too.
Oh, hell yeah. Hi, Nikki. You're awesome.
You know? So I would have her talking to all those girls, and whoever it may be 15 years from now, 20 years from now, if she decides to do it, you know, trying to get as much information as knowledge as she can.
Okay. Okay, I'll save that question for later. Do you think you inspire others to do something greater with their lives?
I'd like to hope so. I'd like to hope so. I'd like to hope that, you know, my opinions and what I do, you know, helps other people find it within themselves to do it. You know, I know you've said on numerous occasions that watching me and Jeff do our show inspired you to get in front of the camera and do it.
Yeah.
You know, just like, in a sense, me watching Jeff do talk wrestling and XMV inspired me to do a Hardy Conversation and then Renegade of Wrestling, you know. I hope the cycle continues and, you know, people are out there watching Renegade and Dads and Stat Boy and In the Pink and Chicks and all that stuff and saying, hey, you know, these guys are just sitting down in front of the camera talking. You know, it's harder than it looks, but at the end of the day, it's not that hard. You just get your thoughts together, you figure out what you want to say, and you sit down and you do it.
It's easier when you have a co-host to bounce off of, I think.
Agreed.
Agreed to a point.
Yeah.
But I prefer, like Jay said, that watching him and Jeff do their show inspired me to start on my own.
Yeah.
In my own home, I was doing maybe 2 or 3 minute shows because it was just my thoughts on certain things. But it was so cool just to see guys doing this, and there was no other female, and I did my research. There was no other female that I saw that was doing anything that Jeff and JJ were doing. So I said, oh, forget this, I'm going to try it myself.
It's
and
almost
I did it all by myself.
It's almost like you wanted to tout, but you wanted more than 15 seconds.
Thank you.
So you were doing like 2 or 3 minute touts as opposed to 15 minute shows or 15 seconds, you know.
So, yeah, it definitely inspired me to do that, so thank you.
How did you get started with BPW?
August 2011, went to my first show there, talked to some of the guys in charge after the show. You know, they came up to me, ironically asking what I thought. I don't know if they knew who I was going in or if they just saw me talking with some of the boys, like, you know, hey, how's it been? Haven't seen you in forever, so they figured I was somebody. And, you know, asked my opinion on the show, and I told them it was fantastic, and, you know, I haven't missed a show since then. It was probably either the November Pain show in 11 or the very first show in January. And, you know, I asked them, I was like, hey, you know, would you guys like a little bit of help? You know, some promotion, help setting up the ring, blah, blah, blah. You know, and me and Jeff started sitting ringside, tweeting results, and, oh, so-and-so just did this move to so-and-so, basically being commentators, but over social media. And then from there, we started assisting with the ring crew also. We started doing the hype videos and, you know, post-show videos like we usually do for pay-per-views and whatnot. You know, and since they don't run weekly, technically every show's a pay-per-view. You know, so we were just trying to get their name out there and get them exposure because we actually believed in their product, and we still do believe. I've been itching for a battleground show since Pinky's Playhouse.
I know.
Yeah.
I was actually one of the higher ones.
Yeah.
I was talking to the owner the other night, and it was like, man, I'm like a crackhead. I'm fiending for the next.
Right?
I'm itching and fiending for the next hit of Battleground. Man, it's like, when is it gonna
I miss
be?
my boys.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Okay. My last question is, what do you think about the negative comments about our shows, our hosts, and do you even care?
Honestly, I don't care.
Score.
And if the fans want to hate on me for saying I don't care, well, go ahead and hate. Haters go hate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, haters are our #1 fans because they pay the most attention to what we have to say so that they can find something to rag on in the first place. At the end of the day, it comes down to the very simple philosophy. If you don't like what we're doing, don't watch. Change the channel. Mute if you can't stand her voice, if it's too annoying, if hers is too high-pitched and squeaky, whatever. If you don't like us, don't watch. No skin off our back. We're here for the people that want to hear our opinions, be they educated or uneducated. And I only say that because I know you just started doing your homework, really.
Yeah, it's perfectly
you know,
fine.
A lot of your older shows were more uneducated opinions,
Right.
but you're coming along, you're doing your work, you're doing really
I'm
well.
learning.
She's a learning.
But whether they want to hear our educated or our uneducated opinions, if you want to see what we have to say, press the play button and you watch the show. And if you don't, you can not press play, or you can unsubscribe if you're already a subscriber of the channel. Go find somebody else's show to watch. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, yes, we may get paid from YouTube for the ads to do this show, but we're doing it because we want to do it.
And we're doing
Bottom
it because we
line.
want to. Right.
Do you think WWE style wrestling should be in the Olympics?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Absolutely not, because it's entertainment, it's not sport.
People would argue that sometimes, though,
They
because
can
of
argue
all
all they
the
want.
because of all the physical
It's
stuff.
athleticism,
Mhm.
but it's not sport.
Yeah.
It's sports entertainment.
There is a difference.
Okay.
And we've been told to wrap this one up, Sharon. That was actually pretty kick-ass.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here.
We enjoyed having you, didn't
We
we?
love Boss Man.
He's amazing. This guy right here. So, until next time, our next and last interview will be big Boss Man, Sean Clark.
Yeah.
So continue to check us out
The
on.
big boss man that got hung by the Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell?
Oh
Oh,
no, you goof him, dang home. Continue to check us out here on YouTube. And as we have moved over to UnlimitedRadio247.net, you can check out all of our videos, as well as we have some upcoming interviews with us
Really
at Casa
exciting.
D18 Studios. Oh my gosh. JJ's interview happens on Tuesday.
So it already happened because this is Thursday.
Oh my God, it sure did.
Statboy will be having his on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Next Tuesday, Jade will be on the air, and a week from this Saturday, Pinky will be on the air with Sean Cloth on Lowdown Radio, found on Unlimited Radio 24/7.
This is gonna be wild.
We've been doing so much, it's like, I could see.
Ready. Drop.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Hello, my internet fans. We're here with another episode of my show, the Stat Boy Rants, on this channel on YouTube. And as always, Stat Boy approved are the rants. A lot of stuff to talk about that happened last week. I'm gonna take a small break from talking about Raw because I just don't want to. How about that one? Yeah. I will talk about some wrestling. I will talk about mostly what happened on Saturday at Battleground Pro Wrestling at the Los Alamitos American Legion Post 716. You know, we've been there before. Had a lot of good things. We got down there. You know, we did the ring crew stuff. We put in a good day's work. You know, and honestly, some stuff happened from the last show that Renegade and Meacham told me about. It. Basically, I didn't show up at the April show because don't you dare! I knew you were gonna do that. I knew it. She started to sneeze, and I called it. I knew she was gonna do that. I knew it. I even saw one of our cat episodes and she sneezed during that one too. I knew it. Anyway, I did not go to the April show because I had to go to work. And so like I've been saying all month, I'm going to go. And then Renegade tells me that there's a UFC pay-per-view. And it's like, I thought you were going to go to UFC. I said, no, I'm going to go to this show. 3 people, Levi Shapiro, Luis Tapia, and Nick Madrid, which was the biggest surprise. That, hey, where's your brother with the mustache? He's not here. So as soon as I saw all 3 of them, I made extra. I was very thankful that they at least remembered me and all that. In fact, Nick Madrid actually remembered that I was, bless you, a cast member. So thank you for that. And so we're sitting there, we're doing our work and all that, and I had the thought into my head, if you remember a while ago when we were a taping of NWA Hollywood, we did interviews. So I wanted to do an interview. I wanted to get involved. And so I got to sit down with one of the 3 wrestlers, Levi Shapiro. So, check this out. This is a good interview. Just check this out. So today I've got my good pal here, Levi Shapiro. What's up?
What's up, brother?
How you doing? You good?
Seeing the scummy Los Angeles weather down here, it's nothing compared to Atlantic City, baby.
Nothing like Atlantic City.
It's beautiful down there,
Basically, Levi, we're here at Battleground Pro Wrestling, Los Alamitos, California. And just want to...
Is that where we are? Los Alamitos?
Yeah.
Sounds like a dog.
Watch a lot of baseball. Basically, I just want to give my internet fans here a chance to, get the backstory on you and all that good shit. What made you become a wrestler?
Oh, a little bit of everything. When I was younger, grew up in Atlantic City, we did a little bit of everything. Grandpa liked to take her down to the matches. He was a big Vince fan, he had a lot of good guys coming in and out. And what really did it was WrestleMania 4, man. They had the tournament, Trump Talents. I was always on the beach, man. The sexy body, you can't keep that off. So it's like I see the tournament, man. Macho Man, Ted DiBiase. Some of the guys I look up to. Nowadays it's not what it was back then. They had
changed too
much. They had no way to have the mega powers. The mega powers they combine for your build. And then they explode. So that was a little bit of my influence personally.
When did you make your debut?
I made my debut about 3 years ago. I did a little work on the East Coast, nothing really to be recognized. But then I came out, to Martinez, trained under Devil Mountain. It's affiliated with these guys under the Action Coast Empire Network. And I just took what I did, and I'm getting my name out down here. And I don't really want to go back to the East Coast, but I got love, Atlantic City. Can't hate on that, but West Coast is just so beautiful. I was thinking about relocating out here. I met my heterosexual life mate, the Rib. We met down there in Manhattan Beach one day. We were partying it up, got the cheeks, And ever since then, we've kind of just been the duo, going in and out.
What's your ultimate goal? Where do you want to go? Do you want the big time? Do you want WWE? Do you want to?
I mean, just working is what it is, man. I like to wrestle. I like to have sex with rats more, but wrestling's definitely #1 priority. I'd like to get somewhere, I just want to get the name noticed, all those jabronis out there want to see Levi Shapiro. Why not give him the chance, Everywhere I go, it's just another good thing for me. This show's name is Boy Rants, but it sounds like Levi Shapiro.
Hey, if you want to rant, I'm cool with it, man. I love it when I'm.
What's the stats? What's my stats in Battleground Pro Wrestling?
They're pretty damn good. Yeah. I didn't come totally prepared because it was there.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I do this all the time. I'll get you the stats, don't worry, I promise.
I want those ASAP on my Twitter.
What is your Twitter account?
It's @Levi Shapiro. All day.
Facebook too?
Facebook, not as much on Levi Shapiro. I go by a different name under my alias code. I'm not going to release that.
No, you don't want to give people, Have you had your best match with anybody? Your best feud or...
Well, I mean, if I'm a wrestler and I wrestle, I'd like to say I had a best match, right? I don't think I'm a piece of crap.
No, you're definitely not.
I mean, anything, you know, me and Riv are the longest reigning Devil Mountain Tag Team Champions of all time. And nobody's going to take that spot away from us, you know. And, you know, I got to give it up to the Suburban Commandos, those two fat losers. They put a good fight up, and got a lot of respect for them. You know, even though we've done our time here at Battleground and all of NorCal, I'd like to say I'd have some of my favorite matches in a tag team against those guys.
Would that be your dream match?
A tag team match?
No, any match. What would be your dream match?
A dream match with anybody I could ever wrestle?
Anybody. Anybody, dead or alive?
That's a snug question right there. You know, I don't really know. It took me about 5 years to figure out that Terry Funk was my favorite wrestler of all time. You know, so just to work Terry Funk in the Tokyo Dome, I'd say that'd be a good one. Just and not even on that hardcore aspect. You know, just I want to work. I want to have Terry Funk give down his left jabs and see how he can work for an old man.
How did your family take you when you sat down with them? I want to be a wrestler.
You know, I mean, my grandpa was always into it, and my parents were never big on it. You know, they thought it was fake and everything. They used that F word.
Never use the word fake in wrestling, folks.
But what they did though. They always supported me, you know. I mean, my father was a bartender and my mother was a poker dealer, you know. So I grew up in the Trump Towers, like I said. I've been to WrestleMania 4 and 5.
Did you ever meet Trump?
I've got close to Trump a couple times. It was more like I snuck into his parties when he was having at the Towers. Me and the Rib, we snuck in and banged a bunch of his rats.
Whoa!
In the hot tubs, but we didn't get close to the Trumpster.
Or his money.
No.
All about him.
You know, time's money. Girls take time. So root of all evil. Yeah, girls equal death. That's why we like the rats. You know, just hit it and quit. You know, get them in, get them out.
Alright, my fans, check this guy out. Follow him on Twitter. Come down to BPW every month. I'll be here.
I'll be down here. Check him out. YouTube. See me in my heterosexual life, mate, the Rib. We're circumsexy. We're kicking asses all over California.
Thank you for being on my show, sir. My first interview was a success.
Thank you.
Wasn't that a good interview? That was fun. That was a good interview there that Levi and I did. You know, I love his Atlantic City stories. So those were the best. Wanted to do a little bit more, but I didn't want to waste too much of his time. So anyway, we get down there. We put a good day's work in. We put the ring together. It seems so fast. Like we put together the ring so quickly. After we put we didn't put all the finishing. Yes, Renegade?
The reason the ring gets put together so quickly at Battleground is because there's not a bunch of prima donnas in the back.
Oh, backstory coming soon. But we the only thing.
Cassius, oh no.
Oh no. No, we didn't totally finish. We didn't put the ring skirt, and we didn't do the there was something else that we didn't do on there. But once we put the canvas down, we tied it all down. You know, Renegade and me, and we just start resorting to 12-year-olds. He's taking bumps. I'm running the ropes. He wants to take the bumps. I just want to run. That's all I wanted to do. So I'm just running back and forth, hitting the ropes, going back and forth, and it was cheesy and corny. Dylan got involved. He started taking bumps too. You know, did we get that on tape? Yeah, we got that on tape, didn't we?
No, a little bit of the training.
A little bit of the training?
A little bit of the training.
Are we going to post that or no?
I probably don't know. We'll see.
Probably not? Well, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, just get in there and... it was probably the worst running the ropes ever, but I don't care. I just want to run. That's all I wanted to do. Then we went and we had a nice lunch dinner at the Cafe del Sol, Cafe of the Sun in Spanish. And I was sitting there, we were having our burgers and fries, watching the Angels game, and they went retro, like my hat, you know. This was the one of the California logos. They were wearing their classic 1960 jerseys with Los Angeles, and they were wearing blue caps, and the Mariners were wearing red caps, and it said Rainers, R-A-I-N-E-R-S, because before they were the Mariners, they were the Rainers. So whenever they were up to bat and they were wearing the red helmets, I thought, well, that was a cool hit, but it was one of the Angels instead, because they went retro. We finish our lunch, we go back, we're mingling, we're hanging out, everyone's stretching and whatnot, and I went to the one of the guys. I said, can I be the ring attendant guy or whatever that proper term is? They pass off their coats, you throw them in the back. He says, sure, no problem. And I was also in charge of taking the belts and putting them over to the end, and that was a cool job. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. It gives you a little more into it, 8 good matches. First match of the night was Sheik, what's his full name? Sheik Khalid, what's his full name?
Sheik Kalavali.
Sheik Kalavali, thank you, whatever he's, against Chupacabra. Chupacabra,
Everybody knows that name.
The Mexican werewolf with the fangs and the eyes and all that, and it ended up being title for title, and now great match there. Foob Dog went up against Pinky's Nobodies in a gauntlet. Good match there. There was a triple threat match. There was a 4-way. It just, you got to get down there. I'm not going to go into total details, but you just got to go down to VPW, guys. I mean, come on down there. For $10, you get a good show and whatnot. Former Tough Enough contestant AJ was down there. He was very nice. He was cool and all that. Famous B successfully defended his title, and Rick Ellis, who is also dubbed as Baby Benoit here at Casa D18. What?
Not by Jeff Meacham, Rick.
Or JJ Williams, Rick.
It's a Jade thing, Rick. Basically, at the end of Famous B's match, he comes out and he starts praising B. Alright? He's like, B, you're a great champion and all that, and you're going places, whatnot, and I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a swerve. And lo and behold, there is. He cheap shot B and he locks him in the crossface and he's ripping his arm out of his socket or whatever. And he does it 3 times. Not cool. And he finally goes to the back. And B's in the ring. And nobody else is there. And it's like, I'm right by B. And it's like, B, I'm here, man. What do you need? He goes, I need help. I run to the back and I grab the referee. He's like, come on, B needs help. They go, get an ice pack. I go, an ice pack? Where the hell am I going to get an ice pack? Run to the back. Put an ice pack together. Take him to the back. He's A-okay. He's A-okay. B's a tough guy. He's going to be fine. Don't worry about Famous B, because he's a tough guy. In fact, he actually said thank you to me for helping him out. And then in the main event with Rico Dynamite and Nick Madrid for the title, the finish of the match, the referees got knocked down. Rico tries to use the belt as a weapon. He misses. Nick grabs the belt and smacks Rico upside the head. And right up here, right by his eyebrow, there's a nice little gash. Not too bad of a gash. Not like Attitude Era Crimson Mask type of a gash, but enough to make a mess. And as soon as I saw that, it's like, okay, we got to take care of this right away. Luckily, in the back, there's a first aid kit. We're talking gauze and gloves and peroxide and alcohol. And next thing you know, I'm like Cutman at the UFC. I got the gloves on and everything. I'm putting pressure on the wound. I'm cleaning them up. And unfortunately, they only had Band-Aids, so I didn't think a Band-Aid would cover it. So we had to do something. So apparently now Stat Boy knows what to do in an emergency when someone's bleeding. Lucky me, I guess. I don't know. So there you go. Battleground. Like I said, come on. The next one is June 20...
June 30th.
I think so. We'll post the date for certain. I want to say like June. For some reason, June 26th is popping out in
No, June 30th is right.
June 30th?
Yeah, June 9, 16, 20, yeah, 30.
Okay, June 30th. If I've screwed up the date, I apologize in advance. We did not get home until 2:30 Sunday morning because of the after party. After we're done, you know, cleaning up. The ring crew we tore down. The tear down always seems faster than the setup.
No.
No?
No.
It's not the same.
Setup was way quicker this time. Teardown took forever.
Didn't seem like it.
Yeah, it did. I was watching.
And after we clean up the hall and all that, we go into the little bar area, and I also found out that it's not a public bar, because somebody tried to go into the bar during the show, and I had to be told by the security guys, you know, veterans only, American Legion Hall, and I was like, oh, okay. But they let them get one drink anyway, because they're nice guys. So we're all in there, we're chilling, relaxing. People are trying to sing. People are singing. People are drunk off their ass. People are sober. Renegade and I were the sober ones, I think. You had a drink, didn't you?
No. During the show, yeah.
Oh, you'd sobered up by then?
Oh, way sober up by then, man.
So I'm looking through the book, and trying to find a song, and didn't really find one. Wanted to Pour Some Sugar on Me from Def Leppard, because I like one of that song. I looked, and they had Def Leppard songs, but they had every single one but that. So it's like, I did Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, and Renegade got me good, didn't he? He had to turn on the camera. Yeah. That was. Yeah.
But that wasn't the only time I turned on the camera. Check this out.
Oh.
Hey, she did good.
I didn't know about that. I was in the hall hanging out with everybody when that happened.
Yeah, but she
I
did
told
good.
you.
She did good, though.
I came back
But-
and told you about
But
it.
everybody was doing rock songs and party songs. Why did you do a slow song?
The only one I heard.
That's the only one you knew? Okay.
Lord, I apologize for the lighting there. It was a bar.
But you
it was a
didn't
bar. So it's not very bright in a bar. Forgive me. Be with the pygmies down in New Guinea. Amen.
Like I say, we made it all the way to the last call, and we just came home and we were dead tired. I still got up, and I kind of went back to sleep, but then everybody was just dead to the world. So then, we're just hanging out here, and I went over to my friend's house. I saw UFC. Had to see a day late, but still a pretty good showing there. 3 big matches with Big Country Roy Nelson. He's got a big old beard too, just like yours. A little bit longer though. They in fact, Rogan and Goldberg actually called it a playoff beard. They didn't necessarily say it was the King's, but they did say it was a playoff beard.
I see.
And Roy Nelson, boy, he's got big country power because he knocked out Dave Herman. He knocked him out good. Cain Velasquez, the former champion, he beat Antonio Silva. If you saw one of my Facebook posts, I took a picture of Antonio Silva, whose nickname is Bigfoot, and I said, he looks like Great Khali. He does. If I would have done a side-by-side, they would have looked exactly the same, or pretty darn close. And Antonio Silva, man, he got busted open, and there were puddles on the mat. And okay, I understand that UFC and boxing And sometimes WWE can get bloody and messy, but there's got to be a better way to clean up those messes. Because let's face it, folks, it's blood. It's not supposed to be there. You don't know what those fighters have. Yeah, they do testing left and right to make sure they're healthy and they don't have no nasty diseases. But if I'm a fighter, okay, I'm not a germaphobe. I mean, I like things to be neat and clean, but I ain't getting in there. Even if I'm wearing shoes, because they fight barefoot, you know, that's just disgusting. It needs to be cleaned up better. I won't say it all on that. And in the main event, Junior Dos Santos defeated Frank Mir. In fact, here's a funny moment, okay? At the end of the first round, Frank Mir got knocked silly, okay? And the doctor comes up to him and goes, "You alright? You alright?" "Yeah." "Okay, tell me where you are." He says, "I'm at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, and it's May 26th. One part of that statement was wrong. They were not at Mandalay Bay, they were at the MGM Grand. So I'm thinking one of two things. He was being silly, or he really did get knocked silly. So, I mean, Joe Rogan heard it and he goes, well, they're in the same family of casino people, or whatever. So, it's like, but the doctor said he was good to go on. Also from UFC 145, or 143, or 144, whatever the number is. 146, thank you.
Come on, Stat Boy, get your stats straight.
I'll get my stats straight. Our good buddy Brock Lesnar was shown on UFC television, which totally, in my mind, throws the whole I quit storyline out the window, because we know he's not quitting. In fact, now there are rumors that he's coming back to UFC. Here's the story. Dana White got a text from Brock. He says, "I want to come to the fights." Dana says, "Okay, you can come to the fights. You're still in good standings." During the press conference, some reporter comes up. He says, "You know, was Brock Lesnar here?" "Yes." "Is he coming back?" "Don't know." "Did you talk about him coming back?" "I can't tell you." And Dana has got one hell of a poker face. He is not going to let anybody in on talks. But there are now rumors going up. What's going on?
I'm talking to Jay. Do your show. Go ahead. I'm trying to talk, so I don't interrupt you, and you interrupt yourself.
Oh, I see you guys.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So now there's rumors abound that he's gonna come back to UFC, and it's like, why? You don't want to jump back and forth. I mean, come on, Brock. Make up your mind. You're either gonna stay in WWE, you're gonna go, you come back to UFC, or you go back to your farm in Minnesota, wherever it is. And in the crowd, there were a lot of Brazilian flags. And so that leads up to the Chris Jericho Brazilian flag incident. If you don't know what, this is my impression of what Chris Jericho did. He took the imagine the this, and he crumpled it up, and he threw it down, and he stepped on the flag.
And he kicked it.
And then he kicked it away. That's a big no-no in Brazil, apparently, because anybody can be very honored for their country. You know, they can be very patriotic. They love their country very much, and basically, the Brazilian police decide to, one, they want to shut down the show because this was the first time WWE ever was in Brazil. They wanted to shut down the show, and they wanted to throw Chris Jericho in jail and put him down in the deepest, darkest hole, because you just don't do that. And so he gets on the microphone and he says, "I'm sorry, I love Brazil, I love being in Brazil." And just from the tone of his voice, I couldn't tell if he was being sincere or not. I mean, yes, he's a heel, but you know, if I'm really sorry about something, you know, I'm not going to have a sarcastic tone in my voice unless I think I'm right, which, let's face it, I've done many times before. You know, you just walk up, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, that was my bad," and you move on. But then, if you went on Twitter, there was a hashtag that was trending worldwide saying it's all HBK's fault because of the whole Canadian up the nose incident and what happened in Survivor Series when him humping the flag. And you know, it's like, how do you get cheap heat? You desecrate or embarrass or do something nasty to that country's flag. We've done it. People burn the American flag when they're ticked off. And so what do? We go to war. Now, number one rule when visiting a foreign country, respect their flags. There you go. To my buddy Chris Smart, who last week wanted to know how many hours Kelly has been flaunting a fake smile. I actually did the math. Took me a while, but I actually did it. She made her debut June 13th, 2006. She briefly left television between December 15th, 2006 and January 16th, 2007. Figuring that on every Raw, a Diva segment is about 5 minutes long and about at 10 minutes for every pay-per-view, she has been on television, and this is as close as an estimate, or if my math is correct, 2,287 minutes. That's a long time. Yeah, 2,287 minutes of holla, holla, holla. There you go. If my stats are, my math I think is okay, but like I say, I've worked all week on it, and that's the number I came up with. So I hope that gives you. Now remember, that is over 5 years. So she's been in the company since 2000. Anyway, we're done with this episode. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Follow Levi Shapiro at Levi Shapiro, like he said during there. You know, I can't wait to read all the comments on the karaoke. Come on down to Battleground next month. Give me some more topics to talk about. I will see you next time. Thank you all, and Stat Boy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Well, what you gonna do, brother, when Hulk Hogan puts TNA under, dude? Welcome everyone to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. I am the owner of NoDQ, Aaron Rift. Here to talk about wrestling, we have Bound for Glory this coming Sunday. And the first question I have here is, what did you think about Hulk Hogan's comments towards Robert Roode? Now, for those of you that haven't read it yet, go check out NoDQ.com. We posted an interview that Hulk Hogan did promoting Bound for Glory. And basically, he buried Bobby Roode. He said that he doesn't see Bobby Roode as the next guy. He thinks that if he had to bet money on somebody, Jeff Hardy would be the future of TNA if he can keep his head on straight. So, yeah, he said Roode's not ready. Roode doesn't have the right look. He prefers James Storm's look over Roode. Now, I read this and I was just, my jaw dropped. I was mind-boggled by this. Now, let's just say for argument's sake that Hogan's right. Robert Roode's not ready to be a main eventer. The problem is TNA has already booked Bobby Roode as the future of TNA. He is in the main event of their biggest show of the year this coming Sunday. Why are we buying the pay-per-view? If Bobby Roode is not a top guy, then why should we even bother? It just makes no sense, and I cannot believe that Hogan would say something like this. Logic would tell you that Hogan would put over Bobby Roode like $1 million to try to sell the fucking pay-per-view. God, it just gives me a massive headache just thinking about it. I have no idea what Hulk Hogan is thinking here, and some people could make the argument that he's a heel and he's supposed to say this, but he put over Jeff Hardy. I don't know. I should just quit now. Hey, Aaron, you're awesome. What's your TNA versus WWE dream card? The TNA writers versus the WWE writers. Whichever group can come up with a more logical script wins the match. So it'll probably end in a double DQ or whatever. Hey, Aaron, what did you think of Rhino in the WWE? I personally liked him as a performer. Thought he was good in the ring and had average mic skills and could be pushed towards the WWE or World Championship. Thanks. Well, he was the last ECW World Champion, but he was a big fish in a small pond. I think he was a good wrestler, decent on the mic, but maybe they could have done a little bit more with him. Who knows? But I never saw him as anything more than just a solid mid-card act. That's just my personal opinion. Hey, Aaron, who in your opinion do you think had the best reign as WWF/WWE European Champion? D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown, and when he had the IC title, the Euro Continental, was that Kurt Angle? I don't even remember, but I liked D'Lo a lot as European Champion. And I actually liked Al Snow a lot as European Champion. I think he gets overlooked a lot, but I remember he would come out in like a different costume representing a different country. I thought that was pretty awesome, and it was just something different as the European Champion. So there's somebody I think was underrated as European Champion, Al Snow. But my all-time favorite would have to be D'Lo Brown. Do you think the Bash at the Beach shoot with Vince Russo, Jeff Jarrett, and Hulk Hogan was real or a work? Well, everything up to Russo coming out was a work. Hogan went out there and said, he laid down for Jeff Jarrett, and he said that this is the reason the company's in the shape it's in because of bullshit like this. That was all part of the script. But then Russo came out and totally buried Hulk Hogan. That was not in the script. That led to a lawsuit between Hogan and WCW and Vince Russo, and that was Hogan's last appearance. So it was just Russo, fucking with Hogan, and that whole thing was mind-boggling right there. It kind of reminds me of a wrestling promotion we have going on right now. Just based off your memory, what year do you think was WWE's strongest with quality pay-per-views? Maybe 2002 with WrestleMania 18 and SummerSlam, both being arguably the best year for their respective events. I agree with you. I also like 1999. Those pay-per-views were a lot of fun for me. I was at the 1999 Royal Rumble in Anaheim, California. I love that pay-per-view. There wasn't a lot of wrestling to it. It was during that period where it was all about the entrances. Everyone just popped for the entrances, and then it kind of got flat for the match. But yeah, in terms of like in-ring performances, probably 2002 was their best year. Maybe 2005. 2005 had a lot of good pay-per-views, from WrestleMania 21 to One Night Stand to Vengeance with Triple H and Batista, Hell in a Cell. I liked SummerSlam a lot. Just that was a good year. What are the best places to have a pay-per-view aside from Los Angeles and New York City? Well, I live in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, but I would not say they're one of WWE's best wrestling cities. I would always have to go, besides New York, I'd have to go with Chicago and Toronto and Montreal. Those are the strongest cities in my opinion. And I mean, sometimes LA has a good crowd, but they tend to skew more casual than some of the other cities. And unless it's like a SummerSlam, then you get, or a major pay-per-view, they'll get more of the hardcore fans. Do you think we will see Shane McMahon back in WWE? Well, anything's possible. Never say never. Shane's been gone for a couple years now, doing his own thing, doing his other projects, but perhaps one day we'll see him back in a WWE ring. I think that's very much in the realm of possibility. Do you think the NWO would have made as big an impact on wrestling if Sting was the third man instead of Hogan? Hogan at first didn't want to turn heel. Your thoughts? It definitely would not have been as effective. I mean, part of the NWO success was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, the attitude that they brought in, but Hogan was the drawing power, and Hogan as a heel was something people wanted to see for years, so it was highly anticipated. It was the combination of the coolness of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the Too Sweet, the For Life, they kind of were in with pop culture, but Hulk Hogan was the man, the top dog, the big draw. So when he turned heel, it was and created the Hollywood Hogan character, it was that whole combination that made it successful. Do you think it is possible that Gregory Helms / The Hurricane will return to WWE? If so, what gimmick do you think he will use? Like I said before, Shane McMahon, anything's possible. I think it's unlikely at this point because he was never more than a mid-card performer, and they're bringing in new guys and they're focusing on the future, not the past. But I could always see him being brought back as a veteran to try to help some of the younger guys out. That's always a possibility, and I wish him well. I know he's dealing with some tough times right now, and he could probably use the money and benefit from the job. So, yeah, I'd like to see him back. Definitely. Aaron, what are the chances that the Dudley Boys will come back to the WWE? Everyone's asking who's coming back. Should I say the same answer for the third time? Anything's possible. But once again, I think it's unlikely because they had their fame in WWE. They had their run. If they come back, it's just going to be rehashing more of the past, and WWE needs to look towards the future, and that's just the way it is. How far in advance is WWE scripted? Not very. If the last several weeks of WWE television is any indication, we keep hearing about how they have like 7 or 8 different scripts, and it's always getting changed, and they go in one direction, then change plans. It's quite a mess, and WWE could really benefit from trying to book things better in advance. You look back into the late 80s, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, that feud was built up, planned out. The whole thing was planned out over a year in advance. By WrestleMania 4, when Savage won the title, the plan was to have Hogan versus Savage at next year's WrestleMania. They already had that figured out, and they already decided we're going to start teasing it at SummerSlam, and then the Survivor Series build it up a little bit more, Royal Rumble build it up a little bit more, and then finally at the Saturday night's main event, they finally pulled the trigger on it. That would be great if WWE could start planning it out better, but they always worry about spoilers getting out, and it's just things have changed. It's a different era with the internet and everything. It's a different playing field, but I would like to see WWE just go with a plan and stick with it, and if it leaks out, it leaks out. So be it. All right, that about does it for NoDQ&A video. Thanks a lot for checking out the show. Leave a comment at youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Do you agree with Hulk Hogan? Do you think that Bobby Roode is not ready? Or is he ready? Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time for NoDQ&A video.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that, that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a mite or a squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better, or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out and separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special, special man.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's installment of Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams, and I know the name is misleading because this week I'm not going to talk about wrestling at all. There's been no indie shows that I've been to over the past week. Today I'm going to talk hockey because last night I was at Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Kings destroyed New Jersey in a 4-0 shutout, excuse me. It's one of those S-outs, you know. 4-0 shutout. You know, number one star of the game, Jonathan Quick, 22 saves. You know, what more can be said, seriously? The Kings are on a roll. There's been something special about this team since the first game I went to this season, and now we are one win tomorrow from a little bit of a larger version of this. Big shout out to Jeff for letting me use his prop. He has had this since 1993 against Montreal. Bought it at the Forum. Totally putting over the heritage of this. So, you know, what did you say? Like $15 you think is spent for this? And you know, today it would probably be like $50 at the Team LA store.
On sale.
On sale, yeah. Closeout prices. You know, a couple of scratches and dings on it. So, but we are one game now from glory. One game from silencing the critics, shutting up the haters, you know, welcoming a whole slew of bandwagon hoppers like Stat Boy, and to a certain extent me, but I've been a Kings fan since way back. You know, it sucks that the Kings couldn't do it before a certain other SoCal team did it, but at least they're getting their due now. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. The cup is coming back to SoCal. Knock on wood. Tomorrow is going to be a very, very telling day. Emotions are going to be running high at Staples Center tomorrow and all across the country, wherever Kings fans gather. I think the only place that, you know, there could be issues is New Jersey. Just so, trying to keep it short and sweet because I don't want to sound like I'm rambling. Go Kings go. Hashtag believe. Hashtag one more till glory. See you this week on Dads.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
This is James Morgan, NWA and Mach 1 Wrestling Superstar.
This is Chris Masters, the Masterpiece.
This is Downtown Bruno.
This is Eric Watts from WWE Tough Enough.
Mikey Nova.
Hey, what's up? This your boy, Sean Black.
This is Jess Bella from Santino Brothers.
Gorgeous Joey Chaos.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Stage, and you are watching Dads on Wrestling.
It's the Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
On YouTube.
This week on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Now stay tuned or you will feel the bang!
Welcome back to the second installment of the Survivor Series retrospective. Once again, the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams.
And I guess Smiley for now. Jeff Meacham, that's the thing I just did. I don't know why.
Smiley?
I don't know.
Are you trying to be GQ money?
No, Ryan, what's his name? The other guy. Yeah, that guy. Alright, anyway. By the way, we missed the show last week, and I feel bad.
Yeah, so do I, man.
I'm sorry, Money.
I seriously wanted to see you with Hype Man Famous B opening up for KRS-One.
But just the money did not fall to get down to the up to
Money
the
talks,
club.
bullshit walks, and we had a dead battery and no headlights. We didn't even have one headlight like the Wallflowers. We had no headlights.
No headlights. We were done.
And we're making the cameraman walk off again.
We barely even started to talk about the wrestling.
God damn it!
Okay, so that makes a show that Dylan can't watch.
Most of ours you can't watch anyway.
This is very true. Did I tell you about that?
No.
We took him to Mom and Dad's house, and Jade's watching the show where we both went, God damn it, and Dylan looks right at the camera and goes, God damn it! And we're like, my mom's in the room, of course, she just...
Hashtag Top Gun style.
Hashtag Top Gun, not Dylan approved.
But
it is Staff Boy approved, as is this two-parter, or the second part, whatever
1995.
Really not a huge event thing at 95, except for the fact that Brett ended the nearly year-long reign of Big Daddy Cool Diesel, which started 3 days after the previous year's Survivor Series, thanks to Bob Backlund jobbing in 8 seconds, in the Garden, no less. But the weird match on the card was a wild card match. Basically, you had heels and faces teaming together. It's the weirdest damn thing. You had Shawn Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, I believe the heel British Bulldog, and the heel Psycho Sid against mainly heels. You had Yoko, Owen, and Dean Douglas, and then you had Razor Ramon thrown on that team.
I was going to say, I saw Dean and I was going to be like, that can't be Dean Malenko. He didn't come until later. Is this like the same Dean Douglas that held the Intercontinental Championship for like 12 seconds?
In that same year. The month before that, as a matter of fact. And he lost it to the guy in the Razor Ramon. Wild card matches are weird. So we're going to move on from 95 and
because Shawn had been stripped, right?
No, yes, because of the attack that we think Shane Douglas perpetrated in his other guys. The franchise is an evil person.
He was stripped for not agreeing to, the title defense within 30 days.
No, that was 93. 95 was when he got beat up in Syracuse. Got his ass whooped. And then made the big comeback in 96 Rumble.
By the 10 Marines?
Yeah.
So here we go.
1996, and
now I can actually start talking about some shit. Jeff doesn't have to carry the show solo. And the biggest memory that I've got from 1996 is the thing you got right there first, the debut of The Rock, Pineapple Jerry curl, big old Kool-Aid grin, freaking Green Ranger style chest plate with blue fringes hanging off.
Right?
Seriously, like Rocky Maivia.
How did they not know he was going to get booed? How did they not know it? Well, you know what? To be fair, that happened the same night that Sid won the title from Shawn by cheating and got cheered. So the Garden was like on fire for ridiculous amounts of things that night. But he wasn't booed that night. He was not. The Rock was not booed that night. Of course, the Garden was like, hey, he's third generation. All right, let's see how he does. And within like 6 months, they're like, yeah, fuck off.
Die, Rocky, die. Die, Rocky, die.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about The Rock today? Die, Rocky, die. Die, Rocky, die.
Have we even aired the second episode we taped that night? I know the first one I did. Have we heard the second one yet?
No.
Because somebody asked...
That'll go up before this, though, so don't worry. They'll know.
Okay, well, whatever. I just totally went out of order, as usual. Okay. Bret Hart returns that night after WrestleMania 12, after a months-long hiatus, and goes in to battle who he considered the greatest wrestler in the company at that time, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And he was not far off.
No, they blew the Garden down that night. That match was epic. It totally stole the show, as we should expect from those two. And then, of course, you had Sid and Shawn Michaels for the championship, which led to the Royal Rumble, which led to Shawn losing a smile, and blah, 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 and leads to next year,
where Stone Cold Steve Austin beat Owen for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes. The first real competitive outing for Kane, because he had been just like going through people for the
Over
previous
Mankind.
month, and Mankind beats Mankind, and what was a good match.
Then there was something else that happened that night that, I'm not sure if I remember it because it's one of those things that the WWE just never talks about.
Yeah, it comes every once in a while in conversation. You hear it sprinkled about here and there. More so when Brett came back earlier this year. Some sort of screw job in Canada. I really don't know too much about it.
This is.
You know what? Go talk to Dave Meltzer. He knows more about that than we do. Really.
Can somebody please post as a comment? What is this screw job that happens?
What is
Did this happen in Montreal?
I think Aaron's right. I think it did. You know what? You might not be far off, dude. You know what? Let us know where this happened, because we are dying to know.
Seriously, because, WWE doesn't talk about this type of stuff.
Let alone make DVDs about that part of it at all.
Yeah,
They don't know any about this.
This screw job, per se, is kind of like Chris Benoit. Just never gets talked about.
Never does. Never does.
So 1998 comes along.
Yes, and we do another one.
Now, this Survivor Series holds a special place in my heart, and I'm going to tell you why.
Because of the computer
We're going to get a little bit sentimental here.
All right.
Survivor Series 1998 was supposed to be my very first pay-per-view.
Uh-oh.
However, me and Stat Boy showed up at the homie's house that we were supposed to watch it at, and come to find out that he had been killed by his father the day before. And then his father took his own life.
Whoa.
So, it's one of those things that kind of happens every now and then where maybe you're not meant to see something. Because something similar happened in May of 1999. For the Over the Edge pay-per-view.
You missed that one too?
Yeah, I was at a friend's house, and I guess his cable bill wasn't up to date, and so we didn't get to see Over the Edge 1999. And didn't something happen there too, Jeff?
Something with the Hart family again. The Hart family.
What is it about the Hart?
Damn it! All I know is my first pay-per-view I was supposed to see WrestleMania 7, cut out right as the main event started.
So it was the Heidi Bowl.
Exactly. It was Hogan Slaughter. Fred Rogan told me who won the WWF title match that night. Fred Rogan.
Bowl.
Yes.
But seriously,
1998
Deadly Games Tournament. Obviously, I've seen it since then. I got the VHS when it came out.
I'm sure.
Back before there were such things as DVDs.
You mean video existed before DVD?
Or Blu-rays. Wow. I know, right? Top to finish, I think the Deadly Games Tournament was an awesome pay-per-view.
Very much so.
Even mocking that event from the year prior that nobody ever talks about.
Did Rock use a similar move in the finish?
Yeah,
but we don't know. Nobody tells us.
I think he was using a Scorpion Deathlock.
That's what it... Okay. I think... I'm going to just research on this. I will get back to you guys on the third part.
Stat Boy! Let us know, Stat Boy.
I have a Stat Boy, but by the third part goes up, I will know this.
Okay.
I will know this. Sable, of course, wins the women's title for the first time. The only time.
Thank God.
Thank God. Because Jacqueline should have jobbed to her at all. Then you had 99 and the beginning of what turned out to be an epic angle.
With a horrible finish.
Yeah. Stone Cold gets run down in the parking lot, up over the hood of the car, much like Jeff Meacham did in his past.
In Detroit.
In Detroit, thank you much, Detroit Master. And we get a replacement of the Big Show in the Triple Threat match, and Big Show becomes one of very few to hold both the WCW and the WWF championships. We get The Rock and Triple H involved in that match. We get Vince McMahon screwing Triple H, which leads to the McMahon-Helmsley era the following month at Armageddon. Survivor Series 99, a whole lot didn't happen, but when you really examine it, a whole lot of shit went down, because Big Show lasted 2 months as champion, and Vince was going to go with him to WrestleMania 2000, and he kind of went, no. Well, that's to Triple H and Cactus Jack. Yeah, Cactus Jack coming back. See? Survivor Series 99 led to a whole lot of shit going down. And then a whole lot of shit went down the next year at Survivor Series.
Yeah. As
Stone Cold and Triple H, we found out Triple H was the mastermind behind that car accident.
But he wasn't the one who ran Austin down. Who was that?
It was the man who did it for The Rock. He did it for the people. He did it for...
God, shut up, you thong-wearing fatty.
That's right. I don't wear thongs. I am fat, but I don't wear thongs.
Rikishi did it.
Rikishi, of course, did
Seriously? It. Like, really?
It's like... We knew that The Rock's DNA was in the driver's seat, but is it really going to be that far spread along a family tree that it's fucking Rikishi? Good Lord. And then they have a horrid match. It's right. I was not a fan of this match at all. I didn't like it. The Rock won, of course. We all got our happy ending and whatnot, but it's like, really? And then you have Austin Triple H go to no contest because Austin tries to take Triple H out of the car.
Yeah.
And then you have a great finish, in my opinion, to the WWF Championship match. Kurt Angle defeating The Undertaker with the help of his brother Eric.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that the one where
that
his brother...
was great!
And Survivor Series 2000, wasn't that also the Survivor Series, correct me if I'm wrong, that basically had, like, the New Age DX?
Yeah, it was
it was Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, K-Quick, and China?
Yes, against the reformation of the Radicals.
That's right,
After a few months of being apart. And they went all the way past WrestleMania the following year. So, that was awesome.
Probably K-Quick's only high-profile match until he was reborn as the Truth.
The Truth. And now he has a big one coming up.
Will set you free.
He's got one coming up in about a few days, give or take. 2001. The resolution of this invasion clusterfuck they'd gone on since June or May or whatever it was. Officially July.
Because all the titles were more or less merged.
Yes, the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title were merged into
the tag titles.
The tag titles. The women's title was the undisputed women's title for a moment. And then you had the two world champions on opposite sides. You had WWF champion Austin and the WCW camp, and WCW champion The Rock and the WWF camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, it comes down to, when it's a battle for WWE versus WCW, it has to be down to Austin versus Rock. Because Austin was such a big star in WCW that it had to happen that way.
Wasn't Austin the guy in WCW that certain Mr. Bischoff thought wouldn't go far with black tights, black trunks? No gimmick?
You mean the same guy that's fighting the sun on national television now? That guy? Anyway, yeah. Other than that, the big story out of Survivor Series 2001, besides the end of the Alliance, the end of WCW, ECW, at least ECW for a few more years, was Trish Stratus coming out of really nowhere in that six-pack challenge. Of all the girls in that match, Trish wins the championship. Now, granted, we all thought, Trish? Really? And she went on for the next 5 years and proved all us Doubting Thomases wrong, in my opinion.
will admit that Trish proved us all wrong, and at the end of the day deserved to be a multi-time champion, but I still, in my heart of hearts, do not feel she deserved it that night.
That night, maybe, but she would come
Build her up a little bit over time between Survivor Series and Mania and give her first strap at Mania, but actually build her up in matches to where you could buy her as a serious competitor. Not the chick that just does intergender tag matches, you know, with TNA and Trish against the Hardys and Lita.
Or Val Venus and Giant. Yeah. But then, we heard in 2002 because it would have been in Toronto.
Yeah,
so seriously. See? JJ knows what he's talking about, kids.
And who wins the women's title in Toronto? Victoria.
No. Jazz retained that night against Trish and Lita. 2002.
Yeah,
Survivor Series.
So we're talking about Survivor Series.
Right, but what I'm saying, it wasn't Toronto, I'm talking WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
There we go. He got lost for a second. It's all good. He's jumping ahead of the run sheet again, just like last part.
I'm actually trying to stay with us this time and not veer too much off the script, and I'm still getting fucked.
But yeah. God damn it! Second time. Alright, yes, Victoria did become the women's champion in Survivor 2002 in a hardcore match over Trish Stratus, in what was one of the better women's matches of that time.
Yeah.
They beat the... Seriously, Victoria herself, they beat the hell out of each other on the Trish DVD. They beat the holy high hell out of each other. It was awesome. Los Guerreros winning the SmackDown Tag Champs for the first time together in a triple threat match at that.
Paul Heyman screwing Brock Lesnar out of the WWE title, and that was real funny to watch to me.
Yeah.
Because you could clearly see Heyman come out and, like, tap. I think it was Brock, or it was the ref. It was one of those two on the back, like, I'm here, it's time for the screw to go down.
Right, exactly.
It was just so funny because it was that blatant. There was no subtlety whatsoever.
I just like the fact that we saw Paul lose his hat for the first time in a long time. You think my bald head is bad?
Seriously.
Wow. And then we had the first ever presentation of the Elimination Chamber.
That's right, where Shawn Michaels and his incomplete tights win the World Heavyweight title.
Those ugly brown things that he had that even he ragged on himself. Damn. Alright, that is the end of part 2. I'm going to take a break and go run in the other room and find out what the hell happened in 1997. I'm dying to know now. Seriously. And we'll come back.
Wikipedia is a powerful drug.
We'll get me some pie on Wikipedia.
We'll see you in part 3.